Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 187 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. Hope you're having a wonderful day and fantastic week. Today's episode is going to be all about text message marketing. I think text message marketing is one of the most underused opportunities in the veterinary industry right now. So many of your clients would love to get texts from your practice, but it's just not happening because it's a little bit complicated. But we're going to make that simple today. We're going to go over the best ways to collect text message phone numbers, how to build your list, what tools to use, best practices, and things like that. So it's going to be very, very helpful. Be sure to listen all the way through. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. And if you would like to join the Facebook group, if you go to facebook.com/groups/the Veterinary Marketing Nerds, or just search for the Veterinary Marketing Nerds in Facebook, you can join the group to get help, collaboration, all kinds of cool things. All right, so let's jump into today's episode, text message marketing. Why is it important? If you have been just in general doing business with any local business, car dealership, rentals, like car rentals, basically every business uses text message marketing every industry does. And there's a lot of business people that do too. But veterinary practices are a little bit hesitant. And for the most part, it's because it's just an extra channel and an extra thing to manage. But text message marketing has tremendous open rates. I do text message marketing for a few digital marketing clients, and the open rates that we see are typically higher than 80%. Sometimes, and it depends on the list and things, so we have 96% open rates. If we're sending emails, we're typically hoping for a mid-30s% open rate. And so having text message marketing is like just having a direct line to your clients. You get to cut through a lot of the noise because people typically don't invite too many companies into their text message inbox. And I know that, like anything, as time goes on, the more marketers use different channels, the less kind of effective they become. But text message marketing has been around for a while, and open rates are still really good. So I think that this is probably going to be a pretty great strategy moving forward. The other thing that I think is really important about text message marketing is that it's a medium that you get to own, and you are in control of how often things go out, who gets to see it, and it's not blocked by algorithms, or you're not renting that space there. So it definitely makes sense if you're in business to think about adding this to your practice. If you think about too that I'm just thinking about businesses that I interact with locally. It's so convenient for the ability to text to get updates, just do things like that. That's a little bit more sophisticated in terms of how to manage back and forth between text messaging, but it's not that hard, and we're going to make it a lot more simple today. So first thing that you need to consider is the general flow of how text message marketing works. Number one, you have to have a phone number to text. So you have to build a list. Chances are you probably already have a list, right? Inside of your practice management software or your CRM or your marketing CRM, you have a list of phone numbers. But there's additional ways to build text message marketing lists. And then once you have a list, you have to send out messages to your clients. Now, the messages that you can send out can be in broadcast form, which is just, hey, we have a special, come in. Or you can have a back and forth where you have automation built out. And automation is really cool, and it sounds difficult to build out, but it's actually not. There's a lot of great tools that will help you to get this figured out. But once you have that kind of figured out, you have to understand how you're going to use this in conjunction with all of the other marketing mediums that you have. You definitely don't want to overuse this medium because it's something that if you start sending out text messages every single day, people will start to get annoyed about them and either opt out from the list or not want to give you their phone number. And so you have to make sure and be appropriate with the amount of contacts that you're having. And the amount of broadcasts that are going out. So first thing, let's talk about building your list. If you already have a way to collect phone numbers, and you do because you have to get patients' records when they come in, and you have the receptionist gather data at the front desk, it's, I think, just a no-brainer to say, would you like to receive text message updates on promotions, specials, events, and offers, or, whatever it is that you want to say, but make it sound enticing and set up an expectation that they'll receive a text message every so often with deals that they're going to be interested in. And you're probably going to be able to build a pretty substantial list there. There's one thing that I want to say: if you don't have if you don't have consent and people have not decided to opt in, and you're just going to broadcast to your list that's inside of your practice management software, you can get in trouble. So you need to make sure that people agree to opt in, because you can't just spam them and buy lists and spam them. That's not good marketing, and so you definitely don't want to do that. So you have to have these numbers, though, and typically it's good to have numbers associated with the name and an email as well, just so that you can personalize your messages and have contact data inside of this that will tell you who you're sending messages to. You can customize these and use merge fields and things like that. So that's important. So inside of your practice management software, you can use this. You can also build lists through using web forms and add it to your CRM, your marketing CRM, whether you're using ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, Infusionsoft. All of these different tools allow you to gather phone numbers and then use that phone number data with your CRM to reach out and send text messages. So that's one way. And then the final way is to use keywords. And so an example of keywords is like if you text the word veterinary to 44222, you can sign up to get my 35 blog post ideas. If you text the word veterinary to 44222, you'll receive a text, and you can opt in via text message. This is a way to build a text message marketing list. So that's kind of cool. I don't really send out text messages right now, but if you would like to check that out and see how that works, go text the word veterinary to 44222. You can come up with different ideas like that, and the different softwares that we're going to talk about give you these tools to build lists. And if you've ever done contests, or I know that they do that on the radio a lot. Text the word money to 200 or things like that. They seem to do that a lot. And so you can build the text message list that way as well. And I think when you're setting up your messaging and your marketing, it's really, really important when you have these mediums that are very personal, whether it's Facebook Messenger, whether it's text messaging, these things that have high open rates, you need to make sure that you set expectations properly and that you don't ever break those expectations. So if you wanted to say, hey, we're going to send you once a month a special or an update, you could do that, but you want to make sure and follow through. And you don't want to just start to use it, especially if you see that, hey, it gets good open rates and responses, let's just start sending it out often. It's going to be losing its effectiveness over time, just because people are going to get tired of constantly being sold this way. So make sure that you're setting expectations properly and that you're getting consent, because it's very, very important. Okay, so that being said, let's talk about how you actually send out these texts and things. So you have a list definitely in your practice of people and phone numbers. The next kind of step that you can do is either use, there's hundreds of text message marketing services out there. But if we're just focusing in on a few, I think that some of the good ones are Twilio, which is, it's a fantastic service. It's twilio.com. And it is a very, very comprehensive text message marketing platform. It has automations that you can build out. It has ways to build your lists. It has text broadcast builders. It is everything that you would need to do text message marketing. It also integrates really well with other CRMs and marketing software. So if you already are using things like ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft or just any marketing software, you can link Twilio up to it and it will work great. Most practices that I encounter are not using CRMs, and so I say that if you're using a CRM, you can add this to it and it works great. But there's a lot of practices that don't. And so what do you do if you're not using a CRM or practice management software is not able to be integrated with Twilio? And I bet my guess would be that there's not a lot of practice management softwares that would integrate with Twilio, although I don't know 100%. Typically what you do when you are going through and setting up broadcasts, you're going to use what's called an HTTP post, which is a hook that gets triggered by an action, and then it goes to a URL and sends out a text message. It's kind of complicated, but that's how most of these CRMs and things work when you trigger a text message. And so I'm not 100% sure if practice management softwares do that, and I don't have access to practice management software, and there's so many out there that you would want to check with your practice management software company to see if they support HTTP posts or broadcasts for text message marketing and integration with things like Twilio. But assuming that you have the ability to integrate with Twilio, that is a fantastic. They have really affordable options that are pay-as-you-go, pay per messenger subscriber, pay just really, really affordable. And if you're using this to send out messages that are going to be transactional and drive people into the practice, I think that is very, very effective. We'll talk again in just a second about broadcasts and conversations here, because I think those are the kind of two things that you can do to get a lot of benefit out of this for your practice. But the other tool that I wanted to mention was ManyChat. And ManyChat is a messenger product that was for Facebook Messenger initially, and they've also added emails and text messaging, which is fantastic. So if you want to have a tool that you can build a list and use things like the keywords, Twilio also has the keywords and a number, but ManyChat has this as well. And I think ManyChat is definitely an easier solution to use and to work with from a technical standpoint. So if you don't have technical chops and you feel like Twilio is too complicated for you, ManyChat is a great alternative to that. And so you can, with the Pro features, which you have to pay for, which is very, very affordable. I think for up to 500 subscribers, it's $10 a month. You can do text message marketing, build your lists, and all kinds of cool things. And the flow builder that they have is very visual and easy to see how things work. You can tag people properly. You can do all kinds of just cool things with ManyChat. So I really, really endorse the product, and I think it's fantastic. It's also, there's a free version too that you can just build up your messenger list. And that's one thing that I think is cool, is that you have both Messenger on Facebook Messenger and text messaging together. And I think that just is... They're very similar, they're very related, and it gets high open rates, and the kinds of messages that you're going to do and the automation that you're going to build out be definitely kind of good to use those hand in hand, because it's going to give you better use of your time, so to speak. Because if you're building out one, you might as well just build that out on Facebook too, because they're similar. So let's talk now. There's a few things that I think you would want to do. Number one is incentivize people to sign up for text message marketing to receive them. And so there has to be a reason why they want to receive messages from you. So make sure that you're telling people why they should sign up, and then follow through and actually give them reasons to stick around. You can use text messaging for sending out info on content that you think they might be interested in. But for the most part, I would always set it up as, hey, sign up for our text message marketing list. We're going to send you offers, deals, specials, and events. And really keep it to that, because you have this really high attention channel to be using. And so the more you can set it up in a way that people are expecting to receive these kind of things from you, you're going to be able to drive more return on your marketing with this. So that being said, I think that setting it up for transactional broadcasts and things is best. So what's the difference between a broadcast and a conversation? You understand that when you're talking to somebody, you don't expect that you're going to be the only person talking. So that's a conversation, right? If you're doing a broadcast, it's just a one-way. You're talking through a megaphone. Hey, do this, and hopefully they hear it. So going through and figuring out which is the right thing for you is going to depend on a few things. Number one is, are you able to build out automations? And so with both Twilio and ManyChat, the two tools that I mentioned, you're going to have the ability to build out responses. So somebody can respond, or somebody can click a button, or they can respond with a certain word. And then if they respond with a certain word, that you have different responses that can happen. So you're really building out, it's technically called a chatbot, so that you can get, a response and custom tailor it as best as possible. It's really not that complicated to do, and so there's tons of flow tools and keyword tools, and you're able to just build it out so that it looks great and is natural. So my suggestion would be that when you're sending out a broadcast and you don't want to be responding to chats or getting messages back in, just make it very, very simple in how they need to respond, and don't give them the opportunity to respond back with something. So let's say you had an email or a text message that was going out, and you were doing, let's say, a 15% off heartworm. I don't know if that's something that you do. I just am coming off the top of my head. So you're saying, hey, if you want 15% off heartworm treatment, you need to schedule an appointment now. Call this number or go to this URL to redeem. And so that's giving them two options. They can call, they can go to the website, and that's it. There's not, hey, do you have any questions about heartworm? It's, we have a special, here's the two ways to redeem it. So calls to action need to be super clear. They need to be mobile friendly. And if you're sending a text message, having somebody call directly from their phone is not difficult because they're on their phone right now. So I like the call to action that says call now. The other thing that works well is sending them to kind of branded or special pages. So you can use URL tools and URL builders to send people to different landing pages that you have a form that's specific for that specific offer. And that way you're going to be able to test and track and measure where things are coming from. Now, the cool thing, too, about ManyChat and Twilio is that you get to see data and analytics on how people interact with the different things that you're sending out. So you'll be able to see what your open rates are. You'll be able to see what people click on which elements and get really, really detailed data, which is fantastic. And most marketing, email marketing has this, but most people are not typically aware of what their open rates are and how many people called directly from this, promotion and things like that. So it's great to give you that level of detail from a campaign standpoint. Now let's talk about messaging back and forth. When would you want to use messaging, and when would you want to? It's definitely going to be more work. And when I say messaging, I mean conversation messaging and conversational messaging. Now, ManyChat has a great tool that you can see people respond in real time, and you can sit there and type back responses. So if you were sending out, and this is pretty typical, is that when you send out a broadcast with text message marketing or messenger marketing, and people respond back, they typically like to get responses very quickly. They're typically responding within, I would say, 15 minutes. So if you send out a broadcast at noon, the kind of lifespan for people to open those is very short. People get it, they open it, or they don't read it at all. And that's about it. But if 96% of people are opening the message, it's typically almost right away. You're able to batch out responses. So make sure if you're sending out a message where you're going to be chatting conversationally with these people, that you make sure that you're doing it in a time that you have free to respond. Make sure that you have a great autoresponder set up. If you're not in, make sure and turn that on and give people a way to engage with you. So if you're doing a chat response, things that you can do there is schedule appointments directly with somebody. So For example, if you said, let's say you're slow in practice and you said, hey, we have at special today, if you come in, we have free, let's say tick and flea treatment with every exam, but it's today only. If you would like to receive available appointment times, reply with yes. And then you can start from there and give people ways to schedule an appointment directly via text message. So that's one way to do it. Then another way is, and you're going to have to manually do that. You could set up automations. If you have a scheduling tool that would then respond with available appointment times, you could send that. So if somebody says yes, then you could set up a flow that said if they say yes, then they get this message. And that could be automated for you. Another thing that you could do too is have people be tagged. So if somebody responds yes, say, great, would you like us to give you a call right now? If they click yes, then they can get tagged and the front desk staff can call them and they don't actually have to get... It's really weird. People do that all the time. If you say, hey, would you like us to give you a call right now? And they say yes, then call them instead of them calling you. It's really weird. People do that. But it's something that I would suggest testing out. So if you're going to be doing conversation like that, you need to make sure that you have either automated responses up to a point, and you have to expect that people don't always follow the automation rules. They don't click buttons when they're supposed to click buttons. And so the more personal touches that you can put to this, especially if you have a front desk person that's sitting there that's making calls or doing things, if they're there and able to respond to stuff, it's going to be definitely well worth the time spent. You're going to get people coming in, and it gives a great channel for people to engage. As much as possible, I think the more that you can do to keep text messaging on the text medium. So, people want to receive text messages from you. They like them. They like that form of communication. And in 2020 and beyond, this is a legitimate way that people communicate with each other. People text constantly with their friends, their family, and people text when they're sitting next to each other. They just like texting. People are less and less enjoying picking up the phone and calling. And so the more that you can do to meet your clients where they want to talk, how they want to book appointments, how they want to be responded and reminded, you're going to be tremendously beneficial. The other thing that you can do, which I didn't even mention or talk about, is reminders and sending out triggered reminders here on schedules and things like that. So that's a whole nother kind of element and use that you can use for this, but not just driving, people in transactionally. It's actually reminding them to come in for wellness appointments or visit reminders that, hey, tomorrow's your appointment that you scheduled, things like that. So it's a fantastic tool. If you have any questions, comments, need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Be sure to join the Facebook group, The Veterinary Marketing Nerds, and I'll see you on next week's episode. Have a great one. Bye.